sliceofsci-fi.com.
And my thing with Arrow is I think it's got just the right level of cheese, the right level of cheesiness in it. It has to have some. Because, it's a superhero bit, so it's got to have that, a little bit of it.
I have less. I have a lower cheese tolerance than you do.
I know you do. Because you're
lactose intolerant.
I do. I am lactose intolerant, actually. And so maybe that's why I'm not as big on the cheese. But
because otherwise we're going to wake Lori up.
Oh, yeah.
But I think you don't, because you don't like puns, you don't like clever wordplay, that sort of thing.
No,
she
very rarely.
Don't start.
She really hates the pun thing.
Really don't.
Oh my God.
Yeah. I know.
Stay away from me then.
So part of that is I think, and that's why I like the cheese factor of it, because it's kind of fun with Arrow. I can deal with it, and it's got enough dark tones to it.
But I think that's my problem, because then you have sort of a fundamental incompatibility in tone.
Sometimes,
right?
yeah.
Because they want to take themselves kind of a little more gritty and serious, kind of like the Batman. And so when you're wanting to present yourself as more realistic and serious, when you go to the cheesy voiceover.
But to see, to me, that doesn't seem nearly as cheesy as it does to you.
Yeah.
That's the whole point.
Yeah.
I think it's
just incongruous when it goes from one, because I'm all for the wholehearted cheesy, I'm in a cape and I'm going to fight evil, and so his voiceovers, the two parts I hate the most are the voiceover and the lawyers.
I hate the lawyer parts, too.
I think that's just poor writing.
Yeah, that's poor writing, though, for the lawyer parts, but...
But again, I like so much the rest of it. I think the guy who plays Oliver is great, Stephen Amell.
Right. Oh, Amell. Yeah,
Amell.
he's great.
Paul Blackthorne, hello. I love him.
The guy who plays Dig is awesome,
Dig
too.
is fantastic. Yeah. It's interesting. Mom's in on the badness. They just showed up with John Barrowman as the well-dressed man in the limo.
There's
no spoiler there. He's just in the episode.
Yeah, but the other thing, too, is, I just got derailed, so...
Sorry.
No, it's okay. I was just thinking it compared to... I just got derailed. So
the Cape?
Not this the Cape, but I was trying to think of one of the other ones that was kind of like that.
Yeah, I don't know. The Cape is the only one I can think of, because it's the only recent try, like a superhero kind of.
Not like Heroes or Smallville.
No, you're poking at it, and I'm going to lose it even more. So
Sorry.
don't poke at it.
We're going to move
I would
along.
never poke at it.
Don't pick at it.
Yeah,
Stop picking at it. You'll get infected.
Yeah. I would only add the only thing that I've seen about the cheese factor is that you kind of need to have it, especially in terms of Oliver, because when he's in his civilian guise, whatever you want to call it, he's got
smart ass.
He has to be a jerk.
Yep.
And playing this cheesy kind of character, that it sells, because Oliver Queen is historically an idiot. He's a jerk. He's just
But
just
interestingly,
not a nice guy.
he only half-heartedly plays the jerk. He's
because
really
he doesn't
very
believe it himself anymore.
Yeah, he's not like
does it at
Bruce
times,
Wayne does it much better in the new Batman films. Like he wholeheartedly,
Even then, I think even the new films, he doesn't embrace it nearly as much as you think. I don't think he plays
he's more
it as much.
convincing at it than Oliver is.
What I was going to say was the cheese and the dark and the lightheartedness. Grimm does it really well.
Oh yeah,
Grimm does it better.
Grimm does it really well. But again, that's the writing team. Look, it's Koof and
I
Greenwald.
do.
So that's why Grimm, I think, is so utterly fantastic.
Well, Grimm has got some really good things. What I like about Grimm is that they go back to things that we grew up with. They go to the fairy tales that we know as from childhood, and they put an interesting spin on it. Because it's fun, because we know the stories already, and now we've got a different way of looking at them. It's kind of like Fractured Fairy Tales. One of my favorite things that ever was done inside of Bullwinkle, Rocky and Bullwinkle, was the Fractured Fairy Tales, because they took a whole different turn on it, and it made it clever and interesting. And this is kind of the same thing, only a little darker.
Well, and I think the thing with Grimm too is that they stopped doing the
Monster
first
of the Week.
Monster Week or the Fairy Tale of the Week.
Right.
They really kind of stopped that during the first season, really. And now they kind of touch on pieces of it, but it's not necessarily Snow White or Little Red Riding Hood.
Well, I think they needed to do it in the beginning just to kind of establish themselves, and so the viewer could kind of get a sense of who these people are. What kind of show are we touching at? But once they kind of found their footing, or at least established who they were, they could then kind of go off that and start going in other directions.
I will say, as the resident nitpicky cheese finder, I will say the one problem, which I overlook understanding TV budgets and how they do stuff, is the monster effects. I think are pretty lame.
Yeah.
Like I get that you can't you can't have movie quality monsters in a TV budget, right? But I do the CGI faces are just. They look cartoony.
It reminds me of like old like Hercules and Xena. Is what it reminds me of.
It's not scary. Yeah. It's not scary.
Exactly.
So, so when I first started watching and wasn't that into it, it really bothered me. But the more I enjoyed the characters and the stories, the less I cared. And now I could give a crap. Plus, right? But it is the one thing where I'm like, if it's not an episode that I'm really into, then I notice it more.
Is anybody watching Once Upon a Time anymore?
Yeah, I am.
No.
Okay, I'm not.
It's actually on Netflix right now, and I'm actually starting to catch up. The first season.
We're gonna have to catch up.
This season is better.
I have to catch up.
This season is better. I mean, I can spoil you and tell you why. It's not. I mean,
I know why.
Okay,
I know
but
why.
this season is definitely better.
Oh yeah, it's much better.
And actually, I'm quite enjoying the girls romping around in
Mulan and Aurora and Emma and Snow.
Right?
Yeah,
so you
that's
have
fun.
like 4 chicks
Get them
off
away
on an
from those
adventure
guys.
in fairy tale land, like kicking butt.
Oh my god,
it's cool.
Oh, I'm
is.
there. That's awesome. I didn't know that.
And they just introduced Captain Hook in an interesting way.
Oh my god.
Yeah. I can't.
Yeah.
I want them to bring
and
Peter
the guy
Pan in.
who was Vincent on Eureka plays Smee.
Yeah.
Really?
Oh,
I'm
wow.
telling you, it's better.
Yeah, but
It
see, the
is.
problem is you have to wait through all that crap to get to it.
It's true.
You do. There is some
so
stuff.
now maybe we need a primer on this. What are the episodes that you got to watch in the first season in order to get enough story so that you can move on to the
The last episode?
I mean, the last couple. I don't really think there's a huge. Certainly, you want to watch anything that's Rumple-centric, right?
Yeah.
Because he's the best part of the show, and he's a large part of the continuing arc.
Or maybe even some of
so
the
flashbacks
Queen.
to Rumple and his stuff.
Well, my thing is also the Jiminy Cricket episode
that was a good one.
really
Jiminy's
good.
great.
Was a really good episode. So there's some moments of greatness within Once Upon a Time. It's just that a lot of it, you're like, don't care.
Yeah.
Oh, I
But
like that character. Again, don't care.
Q.
I will say that
Q.
that I don't hate Henry as much this season, and I don't want him to die in a fire.
Well, see, I really want him to die in the fire almost all of the first season. So,
yeah, exactly.
Slightly
So
less
it's
annoying.
a little bit better this season.
Yeah.
Yeah. And can I say, speaking of stuff that's been on there, it's Supernatural. I know a lot of people are still a little tired of it. They feel like it's gone on too long. I am not in that category. I think it's still
reinvents
fantastic.
itself.
Well, this season definitely they've done a really good job.
VamPirates.
Yes.
VamPirates.
my God.
VamPirates.
Okay, I'm on board.
Yeah, this season of
fantastic.
Supernatural is really well done. I mean,
I like PTSD Dean,
Yes.
right? Like, I mean, he's my favorite anyway. And honestly, people were bitchy about last season, and I don't know if it makes a difference watching it all the way through on Netflix versus week to week, but I quite enjoyed it. I really liked the
Mary
Leviathan.
watched it and she said it wasn't her favorite season.
It wasn't the best. No,
It wasn't the best, and I kind of agree with her that
I just liked Dick Roman as a bad guy.
It's kind of a Lost thing, though. I mean, honestly, I think if I'd have started Lost on TV, on network TV, I'd have probably been done.
So do you know what I'm
Which
doing?
I tried to the only
way you can watch
season.
that show, I really think the only way you can watch that show is basically you got to bang them out on.
I'm going
them on DVD.
I'm going back to watch BSG to see if that last season
is better
because I can watch them all without having to wait for those gaps.
I don't think so.
You should talk to
you're
Brett about that.
probably
I
right.
mean, he's a little biased. He loves it. He's rewatched it like 2 or 3 times.
Yeah, Brett. I don't believe Brett's opinion ever
Okay,
because
good,
he's so terribly biased. He really is
about BSG and Star Trek. He's not very, objective.
He's not very objective about it. Now I can be because I watched it all on the network, and I can go back and say, was it better? Was it easier for me to stomach some of it because I can mainline it real quick?
I have no interest in ever seeing it again.
Same
except
here.
the first season, maybe.
Well, see,
The
the
first
thing is,
season and the
was
second
great.
season.
1
I
and
did
2.
like the second season.
well, the reason I'm doing this is because it's been so long since I've watched it, and so now I'm kind of like, the pain is healed a little bit, the scars
They
have built
just
up.
piss me off really bad.
And so I'm going back to see this just because I am very curious. Because Trouble was talking about it. She loved it all the way through. She had no problem with it. So I'm like, because she's looking at it for fresh eyes
Yeah,
too.
yeah. I got to say, though, I don't think, for me, from the moment Baltar was pardoned, that killed that character for me. They never went anywhere interesting with him. They looked like they were going to, and then it was like spiraling down a drain.
I don't think they knew what to do with him after they did that. I think they
that
lost
was my
his
first
direction.
clue that they really didn't have a lot of stuff figured out, and it was
Well, they
just,
even admitted it.
Yeah.
Which is fine. Not every show does or can, because you don't know how many years you're going to have. You can't all plot it out like from beginning to end, or at least what you're in. The 5 season B5 thing. Not everybody can do that,
not?
right? But it gets popular and you have to I get the realities of it's a business, but you have to be then good enough so that I'm not noticing that you're pulling it out of your ass, and you know what I mean. So it's not like a thing where where you don't make a big thing out of like the cathedral dream.
Right. Oh yeah.
Right. And then have that explanation
do nothing with it.
Be that.
Yeah. Exactly.
And so I think to me the first time I noticed stuff like that was when they did just Baltar went stupid.
I think the ending's still going to piss me off. No ifs, ands, or buts about it, because I thought it was such a crap ending anyways. So, but I'm curious to see what the journey is like that last season, which we had so many problems with. Oh, did we have so many problems with?
Honestly,
curious.
the ending, the problem with the ending is always been that it ended, and then it ended, and then it ended, and then we're going to end it.
Yeah.
It's like if they would have stopped it right when they got in the shuttle and basically said, we're going to go find a nice little spot to disappear in, and left it
there.
at that, shut it off right there.
That was that would have been fine. The Spielberg AI moment, right? Where the movie should have ended, the series should have ended.
Okay, let's end it. Please end it. No, please end it. I don't want any more. No, please end it. I don't want to know that. Yeah. And that's the problem.
I think you're right.
He gave us he gave us information we didn't want, and it would have been so much better if it would just stopped right there and let us fill the rest of it in ourselves, because we were already there and invested.
Yeah. And that's one of the great things about science fiction. Although they kept saying that they kept saying this is not a science fiction show.
Oh,
I say bull to the shit on that. If they had ended it just like you suggested, that would have been everything that's great about science fiction, because it's supposed to make you kind of think.
Exactly.
And then fans would have just geeked out for years on what the possibilities would have been.
From a business perspective, 10 years from now, when you're desperate for money, you dip back into that well and maybe you write something that since then you've gained distance and you're not, you know what I mean? Like there's an opportunity to go back to that.
Exactly.
There's an opportunity to add on to that in some other form.
And even then, you don't even have to keep following that straight line. You can kind of shoot off at a really weird angle because you still have that opening. The way they closed it is like, where do you go from here?
It's like
you don't.
That's the problem. You can't go anywhere.
It's like midichlorians. They over-explained and it became no longer magical.
Exactly.
Tell me about it.
Yeah.
I'm with Mike.
Magic microbes.
Right. Yeah, that was like, just killed right there. Midichlorians were done.
Right.
Oh, man. Don't even go there.
It's the sci-fi equivalent of, I don't know,
there's no equivalent.
Washed ice.
Global nuclear war, what is that?
Matter.
Extinction level event. It's the sci-fi version of an extinction level event. Midichlorians.
Yeah, extinction level.
No, it's the shark jumping.
Yeah.
Midichlorians are worse than red matter even. I don't
Yes.
No, absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Midichlorians were the worst thing that ever happened.
I know. I couldn't get past red matter.
Well,
really?
I couldn't. That just bugged me to death.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I hated that. Just hated that.
So you could accept midichlorians but not red matter?
No, I couldn't accept that either.
I'm the other way around.
I just hated red matter even worse.
Sure.
Interesting.
I get why, but for some reason I was able to get past it.
Yeah.
It was the physics.
So it reminded me of Alias, and I will love that eternally for the rest of my life.
Well, and JJ's got this red ball fetish.
Yes.
He does.
He just has that. So you just can't get him out of that ball.
It's true.
Does it have leather straps attached to it?
Put that red ball.
Does his wife strap it on at night?
Would you put it in my mouth?
I was going to need a little bit of waxing every now and then.
It was an experimental weapon in the Alias universe. I mean, it was like a...
He keeps bringing it out. That's the thing.
Yeah. It's...
Oh, wait.
It was a
I said too much.
MacGuffin. In Alias, it was a MacGuffin as well.
But my problem is
sorry, I just watched Pulp Fiction lately.
Oh, well, you've got the GIMP on the brain.
Yeah.
No, but the red matter, the physics behind it were just very, very flawed. I mean, I keep saying I love the JJ Star Trek, but my God, flawed film. Physics in that film are just
nutty.
Oh, well, yeah.
Terrible.
It's the Star Trek universe. You wanted real physics?
I mean, they do.
It's worse physics than the past movies.
They are
the
famous
series.
for just making up like...
Come on.
Hey. Star Trek
gobbledygook.
doesn't have to have good science. We build our science around Star Trek.
There
Yes.
you go.
I know.
That is
We
true.
discover the science after Star Trek.
That's
films
right.
it.
That's right.
But the science that was presented with red matter is rubbish.
Well,
that's fine, but turn your brain.
Couldn't get past it.
Okay.
I can understand that.
You are not alone.
Trust
A lot
me,
of people feel
that.
that.
Yeah.
I dig it. Shoddy science often will kill a lot of movies for me. Absolutely. You go, really? Wow. All right.
Probably shouldn't have done that. Yes.
Yeah.
Like what's that? I read somewhere that they used Armageddon as a training film at NASA.
I know.
Yes.
It was like a test. Like new people had to spot like the however many errors in the movie and in the science of the movie in order to like.
That makes sense.
Spotting errors, right?
I was going to say it. I mean, if you're going to use one, use Deep Impact because at least that was a little closer.
They want people to spot what's horribly wrong,
so
right?
NASA,
like what's.
So NASA used Armageddon. The National Aerospace and Aeronautics Weather Division uses the day after tomorrow.
Yeah.
So there's that.
Who uses Event Horizon?
Yeah, there you go.
I hated that movie.
It's like science
film.
copywriting. Yay. Or not copywriting, copy editing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Oh, well.
Oh, well.
That was fun.
Well,
Okay.
I think we've kind of geeked enough for
officially
now.
my bedtime.
So.
Yeah, I think I'm done too. So
All right.
Let's call it.
How much did you get?
Night.